Good morning, traders. This is Perry Wilkie with StartupTrading.com. It is 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time on Monday, January 6th. So let's look at the week of news real quick. So for today, there's a Fed head speech at 9:15 going off here shortly. Uh, Nothing really, a little bit of news at 9:45, a little bit of news at 10. Nothing serious. So we are going to have JOLTS and ISM tomorrow morning at 10. That's not too bad. I mean, this should give us a little bit of volatility potentially. Uh, Wednesday, we're going to have unemployment claims because Thursday, the market will be closed for the stock market. I think interest rates and stuff go a little bit deeper in the day. Uh, but what I've wrote, I like to look at the news events, the news flows for the week as we come into the week. Uh, so I'm a little suspect of some of the news events and the scheduled dates. We'll just have to play them by ear, go with what's on the calendar. So on the Federal Reserve website, there is no FOMC meeting minutes note, which sometimes they don't put on there, which isn't unusual. But the meeting minutes, if you recall, the last meeting that we had was on a Thursday. So 3 weeks later is when we're supposed to get the release of the minutes. So they were scheduled for Thursday, which is the National Day of Mourning. So what the FOMC is doing with not the FOMC, but the FOMC too, the government normally does when there's a day off, they release everything that was due on that day the following day. So, and to my mind, the FOMC meeting minutes should be Friday at 2. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. That's why I say not sure on the date. I think Forex Factory just threw this out there because they forgot the last meeting was on Wednesday and or was on Thursday, I mean, and you know, not sure when it would be because it's not on the FOMC website. But, anyways, we have to assume that potentially uh, one of two things: either the schedule will be printed before Wednesday, or before it actually comes out, it'll be updated correctly on the FOMC website, or that we can just assume that each of the days at 2 o'clock that might come out starting on Wednesday, and just be prepared for that. So just flatten up a minute or two before 2, uh, wait for a minute or two after 2, and then see if it was released or not. So there's my warning. This is potentially a volatility event, so you don't want to shortchange it, right? So expect that it's going to be there. So futures, I did not put the exact time, but futures will close Thursday morning. They'll open up Wednesday night at 6 as usual. They will come in Thursday morning at right when the opening bell should ring at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 8:30 a.m. Central Time. Futures will close. The stock market will not open, and then we'll resume. Futures will resume back Thursday night at 6 o'clock. So stock market's closed on Thursday. All the options that are out for the equities, they will be cash settled to Wednesday's close for the SPY, the QQQ, things like that. SPX, uh, more than likely as well. But the index option futures, the options on the futures themselves will probably settle to the 9:30 a.m. post. I'm not sure about that. I don't play them, but if you are playing any of those options, you want to make sure you know when they're going to settle to. My bet to you would be to just, if you have any of those, get out of them, and then don't screw with them, because I'm sure it'll be some. It's just ripe for market makers to do whatever they want. So any news event that's listed for Thursday, even the FOMC speakers, I have, uh, don't know if that's really going to take place or not as far as anything else. Uh, so let's just take it for, Thursday is with a grain of salt. The market will be closed anyway, so who really cares? Other than that 9 o'clock FOMC speaker there. So Friday, we're going to have non-farm payroll, and as mentioned, potentially at 2 o'clock on Friday, we will get the FOMC meeting minutes. We'll have to find out. Looking at earnings, we do have a little bit of earnings trickling in this week, but earnings season kicks off in reality Friday with a little bit, but next Wednesday, uh, January 15th, will be when the banks start reporting. That's to me, that's when the earnings season officially kicks off. So I think we beat that dead horse. So let's look back at Friday's session, and you can see uh, that we had, basically uh, bullish action overlapping to up for everything except for the Dow, which was neutral. It basically dead nutted the high side of value area high on Friday and just stalled. Very tight range. And then as we look at what that did to structure, we have bullish single prints on the Russell, on the NASDAQ, and we have a split distribution basically on the ES. Uh, Looking at where we are now, keep in mind we are up about 50 points right now on the ES. We have come back down and we took out one untested point of control from the Z24 contracts, and now uh, we are gapping back above some of the points of control from last week. So this will be interesting to me to see if we hold. So potentially we'll trade the 60.27 quarter would be my guess at some point today, but we might not trade the 60.14 quarter, right? Skipping over that and just getting back to where we once were. So if you look at since we had the rollover, uh, we have basically had expanded volatility because once the FOMC come out, right? Remember this was line was will be 3 weeks ago this Thursday, so a little over 2.5 weeks ago. That's when our volatility expanded because we ended up in negative gamma. We keep creeping up, we're going to end back up in positive gamma, which means that the volatility will start to contract, right? So 6100 should be considered basically your ceiling more than likely. Overnight action, 61 points for the ES. And if we look at all the indexes, right, they've all uh, well above Friday's highs, getting into some poor structure, and the ES is sitting here stalling right on this poor structure, which is stalling the NASDAQ as well. This poor structure, these signal prints that are from December 27th go to from 60.34 to 60.41 basically, and you can see 60.41.75 is the high. So we'll see. This is still your battle zone for splits and whatnot this morning. So we'll see if that ends up being the ceiling. See if we can get some repairs. See if these signal prints go. I'm probably more apt to let the first hour play out today than I normally am, just to see where we end up and see if we get any type of sequencing here. But uh, there's always a chance this can be a pop and flop, right? The bears really need to get an engulfing bearish candle down. However, that's probably not really on the table uh, for today. As we look at the one time framing here, we are basically in balance now between 21,160 and 22,075 for the NASDAQ and 5,900 to 6,110 for the ES. Now we'll see, how many days we can get up, right? But my guess is we're going to at least get to the 61.8 of this retracement, which is still, quite a ways above us. And we could get 1 or 2 days, of that. So I'm just going to be laid back a little bit this morning. I'm going to watch the VIX. And some weird things are going to play out this week, I think, too, because of the National Day of Mourning on Thursday. There's some shenanigans that have to go around with the market makers, in their books because of that way that day is going to be, not trading. Um, so again, easy read this morning. Let's watch these signal prints, see if they just get whitewashed, which means they keep painting back and forth across them and through them, or if we actually get, can hold above basically the bottom with, little uh, with just a little bit of a fight, or if we can stay below the top of it with just a little bit of a fight. So that'll be the key read that I'm looking for this morning on that, and that should give the influence for them. On strength, the next stop that I'm looking for above is 21. 897. So just a little bit above 21,900 for the Nasdaq, and right around 6090 for the ES. And that's another 50 points higher. I don't know. I would say you want to look for 25 points in there first and then see what happens. And that's if we even start printing above this overnight high in either of them after. But we are due for a little bit of a pullback, but because, all gaps, right? They're either a gap and go, a gap and hold, or a pop and a flop when they're to the up. So I would assume that you're going to get some type of a sucker retracement back down one way or another. How low it goes will let you know how many bears are trapped on the wrong side of this, and the bears are going to be the fuel to, keep this floating up. And then as opposed to how many bulls, right, just want some of their money back from the dumping that's been happening since FOMC. So it'll be interesting to me again this week, and we'll just have to watch and see. But early read, just watch these signal prints, see how it goes. We will have a good day. We'll watch Jack today, and I will talk to you tomorrow.